What it is, y'all, it's me, T, aka Teopatra, and you're watching TTV. I have been seeing the number 111 lately, and I wanted to expound on that for anyone else who has been seeing 111. So, this is going to be a channel message for why you've been seeing that lately. Currently, it is January 18th, 2023. So, if you've been seeing 111 any time in the past, I would say 3 months or so, or even really just in the past 30 days, because 3 months is a long time to be seeing the same number over and over and not really acting on it. You should have been seeing a different number by now. So that's number one. You, if you're seeing the same number over and over, it's time to make a change and figure out why you keep seeing it. So the number one in itself has to do with you, has to do with the self, the thought, initiation. And you could even go as far as to say it has to deal with the masculine, or any masculine nature, whether that be logic, thought, or left brain activity. You could be focusing too much on right brain things or on your feelings, or maybe you're not paying enough attention to things in a logical perspective. You could be too caught up in emotions and allowing your emotions to sway you. I would even go as far as to say, if you have enough self awareness, to pay attention and realize if maybe you've been right side body dominant. Like, have you been finding yourself looking to the right a lot or looking over your right shoulder? Then you are heavy on your right side. And that could be a reason why you're seeing 111, because there's an imbalance between between masculine and feminine, and or the thought and the emotion, thought process versus the emotional process. You could be internalizing things too much. So, in order to bring balance into that, come out of your emotions, but really just identify your emotions for what they are and realize what it is you're feeling, but what is your thought about those feelings, or where do those feelings lead? What thought process do those feelings lead you into? So, since one has to do with the self, the number 111, when you see it on the clock or wherever you see it, is asking you to focus more on yourself, to pay attention to what you want. And because the summation of 111 is 3, that's why I said you could be focusing too much on the external or your surroundings instead of yourself. You could also be thinking too much on how your surroundings are affecting your situation. But because one has to deal with initiation and thought process and the self, those three things together really just lead to what idea do you have that you're trying to get up off the ground. And the universe and God, when I say universe, I mean all of the frequencies that are around you that are pushing you towards the energy of the language that the world and God speaks to you in. Because angel numbers and synchronicities and repeated patterns are ways that God speaks to us through natural frequencies. And so when you see 111, you need to think about what it is that you want. And if you already know what it is that you want, what are you doing to implement that or even manifest that? Because most likely you have the right idea, but you're probably just not acting on it. 1 is one of the easiest numbers to understand because it is the first, but it is one of the hardest concepts to grasp because we live in a society and a world that influences us, or is social media influenced, or also influenced by collective energy. And sometimes collective energy can cause a lot of people to lose sense of self. So 111 is asking you to be more selfish with the ideas and thought processes that are your own. What thought processes do you own? What thought processes do you have that may differ from other people, but you stand on them, and they could be the motivating factor that guide you through all of the things that get you through your day. 111 is asking you to be more selfish with your thought process and your idea, because those ideas that you have, those are your power, those are your gifts. And honestly, the ideas that you stand on can be the idea that can literally set you free, because that initial ideas or thought is what can potentially be the biggest manifestation you will ever experience in this lifetime. But if you're too focused on external influences like neighborhoods, siblings, family, parents, work, or even how you have to go about your day, like if you have a certain set schedule and you feel like you don't have time for the things that you want to do, then you're not in alignment, because you are not making time for yourself. Each and every one of us on this planet has a natural ability, a gift, and a talent, whether it be negative or positive to the collective frequency. But at the end of the day, we're all aiding in balancing the scales. So, with one being an initiator, sometimes energy, thoughts, ideas, and frequencies that are initial, or initiation, or initiators, or initiate, may also be the outlier or the outcast, because with the energy of 3, it brings awareness to collective thought or groupthink. But if you think of it in terms of like a scale, whereas we have, like, for example, 1 and 7, the 7th house being relationships, but also open enemies, whereas 1 represents the first house of Aries, which is the spring, the pioneer, the emperor, which is the masculine dominant thought, and the self. What it is, what is it? I said what it is. What is it? What is it that you stand on? And if you see 111, there is something that you may stand on or stand for, but you may not be acting on it. And that's what 1 is. Aries energy is about action. Masculine energy is about action. So 111 is guiding you to act on that thought and idea you have, because it's a great idea. And if you're seeing 111 with the summation of it being 3, the collective consciousness or the collective frequency is in need of that idea that you have at that very moment. Also, when you see 111, I'm getting that maybe a lot of you may, for the group of you who see it in the middle of the morning, 111 a.m., that is probably when you get all of your ideas. But you may find yourself just sitting up in your bed or wherever in silence with those ideas. Because if you live with other people, or you feel like based on the time of day, you don't want to disturb energies around you, you're inadvertently blocking yourself from getting out your ideas, because those ideas you have most likely are a prelude to what the collective energy is going to need for the next day or the week ahead. So it's kind of like, what is it called? Like when you see something beforehand, premonition. Whereas my group of you who see 111 in the PM, no matter what time of day you wake up, whether it's 8 a.m. or you get up early and you go to work, because a lot of us can get up just for the sake of knowing we have something to do, whether we got to take our kids to school, go to class ourselves, or go to work. But 1 o'clock in the PM is where you can feel the most awake. Also, you can feel the most conscious. So if you see 111 in the daytime, while let's say you're at work, you could be going on your lunch. You could feel you could feel most like yourself at that time, self, because you don't have to be your work self. So my test to you would be, if you happen to be out and about and you catch 111 in the daytime, assume that you are the main character in your own show, your own reality show, and live out that character that looks like your divine true self, who you feel most comfortable being, regardless of if you're at work around a supervisor, your kids, or whoever. Because no matter who's around, you should always be yourself. And if you're seeing 111, it's probably because you're not being yourself. And that could also be not acting on that great idea that you have, that you're holding back from, that could not only benefit the community, but benefits you.